Good morning, children. Today we will be starting a new lesson, that is, lesson number 2, Periodic Classification of Elements from Science, Part 1. Children, in today's video, we shall be studying three topics, that is, Dobrinius triads, Newland's law of octave, and Mendeleev's periodic table. So let's begin. Let's start with Dobrinius triads. Children, in the year 1817, a German scientist, Dobrinier, suggested that properties of elements are related to their atomic masses. Children, what is element? Elements are the substances in their pure form. So Dobrinier, he suggested the properties of element, they are related to their atomic masses. Now children, look here. If there is an atom, we know it has a nucleus, right, which contains protons and neutrons, right, and there are electrons revolving in a orbit around the nucleus. So what is an atomic mass? Atomic mass means total number of protons plus neutrons is equal to atomic mass. Understood? So children, now we know what is an element and what is atomic mass, right? So Dobrinier, he made groups of 3 elements each having similar chemical properties and called them as triads. For example, here children, lithium, sodium and potassium, that is Li, Na and K. These three were elements, they were arranged, okay, and then he called them as triads because all the three of them were having similar chemical properties. Understood? What is a triad? Then he arranged them in an increasing order of atomic masses and showed that the atomic masses of the middle element was approximately equal to the mean of the atomic masses of the other two elements. For example, children, look here. The atomic mass of lithium is 6.9. That of sodium is 23 and potassium it is 39.1. So what he did, he arranged these elements in an increasing order of their atomic masses. And he also showed that if the atomic mass of the middle element, it would be equal to the mean of atomic masses of the other two. It means if we add 6.9 plus 39.1 and divide by 2. That means we are taking the average of these two elements, the masses of lithium and potassium. So we get 46 divided by 2. So which equals to 23. So now 23, that means this is the average, or we can say is the mean of the atomic mass of sodium. So are you getting me, children? So what he did, he arranged them elements in the increasing order of the atomic masses. And then he also showed that the atomic mass of the middle element, here it is sodium 23, was approximately equal to the mean of atomic masses of the other two elements, that is lithium and potassium, which is also the mean is 23. Understood, children, up to here? Okay. Children, let us now identify Dobrinius triads from the following groups of elements having similar chemical properties. The first one is Mg 24.3, calcium 40.1, and Sr 87.6. So here we need to find out whether these three elements form Dobrynius triad. So what are we going to do? We are going to find out the mean first, right, of the first and the last element. So we are going to add 24.3 plus 87.6 divide by 2. So what are we getting? 111.9 upon 2, which on further calculation gives us 55.95. So children, is it somewhat equal to the atomic mass of calcium? No. So that means these three elements, they do not form a triad. Okay, understood? Let's see the second one now. S 32.1, Se 79.0, and Te is 127.6. Here also first we will find the mean of the two elements. So we will add 32.1 plus 127.6 divide by 2. We get 159.7 upon 2. On further calculating we get 79.85. Now this is somewhat closer to the atomic mass of Se, right, which is 79. So we can say that these three elements form a triad. Are you getting me, children? Let's see one more example. Be is 9.0, Mg is 24.3, Ca is 40.1. So what are we going to do here, children? Correct. We will find out the mean of the elements first. So we will add 9.9 plus 40.1 divide by 2. We will be getting 49.1 upon 2. On further calculation, the answer comes 24.55, which is near to the atomic mass of Mg, that is 24.3. So we can say that these three elements forms a Dobrynian triad. So children, I hope you all understood what is triad and how to find out or identify the Dobrynian triad. Good. Now let's study Newland's law of octaves. The English scientist John Newland correlated the atomic masses of elements to their properties in a different way. He arranged the elements according to the Indian music system. So children, there are 7 main notes in Indian music, namely Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha, Ni. Right? We know this. He arranged the elements as per the frequency of these notes. And children, in Western music, the 7 notes are Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So, La, Ti. Okay, so he arranged the elements as per the frequency of the musical notes. So what he says, when the elements are arranged in an increasing order of their atomic masses, the properties of every 8 element are similar to those of the first. So what is the meaning of this, children? For example, children, look at the table. Sodium, it is the eighth element from lithium, right? So they both will have similar properties, right? And also children, magnesium shows similarity to the barium and chlorine shows similarity with the fluorine. Understood? So children, Newlands compared this similarity with the octaves in the music, and therefore he called the similarity observed in the eighth and the first element as the law of octaves. Understood children? Good. Now let's study the limitation in Newland's law of octave. There were many limitations found in Newland's octave. Children, this law was found applicable only up to calcium. Okay, so this law was found applicable only up to the element calcium. Newland fitted all the known elements in a table of 7 into 8, that is 56 boxes. He also placed two elements each in some of the boxes to accommodate all the known elements in the table. Now children, you can see here, for example children, he kept CO and Ni together, as you can see in the first column in the table children, and also Ce and La in the same box, right? So he placed these two elements each in some boxes to accommodate all the known elements in the table. And children, Newland, he placed the metal CO and Ni under the note Do along with halogens. Right, as you can see here, he kept those elements CO and Ni under the note Do along with the halogens. And children, Fe, which was having the similar, which was similar, okay, which were having the similarity with CO and Ni, were kept away from them with the non-metals O and S under the note Ti. So children, Newland's octave did not have provisions to accommodate the newly discovered elements. That means the properties of the new elements discovered later on did not fit in the Newland's law of octave. Understood? So these were the limitations of Newland's law of octave. Understood children? Okay. Now let's study Mendelev's periodic table. The Russian scientist Mendeleev developed the periodic table of elements during the period 1869 to 1872 AD. Mendeleev's periodic table is the most important step in the classification of elements. Children, Mendeleev considered the atomic masses of the elements as standard and arranged 63 known elements at that time in an increasing order of their atomic masses. Now look here children, these elements lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and sodium, all these elements are arranged in an increasing order of their atomic masses, right? You can also see the atomic masses of the elements below their names. If we observe the oxides of these elements, that is lithium and sodium, we get Li2O and Na2O. That means their oxides are same, their molecular formula of our oxides are same. Whereas for hydride also we get LiH and NaH. That means these two elements have similar chemical properties. Similarly, their melting points, densities and boiling points are also similar. That means they have similar physical properties. Right? So, the elements were kept together with whose were having similar chemical property and physical property. Understood, children? So Mendeleev organized the periodic table on the basis of chemical and physical properties of elements. These were the molecular formulae of hydrides and oxides of the elements, melting points, boiling points and densities of the elements and their hydrides and oxides. So Mendeleev found that the elements with similar physical and chemical properties repeat after a definite interval. So on the basis of this finding, Mendeleev stated the law. Properties of elements are periodic function of their atomic masses. So this was the Mendeleev's periodic law. Properties of elements are periodic function of their atomic masses. What do we mean by periodic function, children? That means the elements with similar physical and chemical properties, they repeat after a definite interval, right? So therefore, properties of elements are periodic function of their atomic masses. Now let's study Mendeleev's periodic table. So the vertical column which you can see here, children, are the groups, while the horizontal rows are called as periods. Okay, in this table, the vertical columns, okay, those are known as groups. So there are 8 groups in all. And the horizontal rows are called as periods in the Mendeleev periodic table. Below the groups, there are the series of oxides present. Okay, in all the 8 groups, there is the series of oxide. If R is an element, so group 1 will have their oxide as R2O, group 2 will have RO, group 3 will have R2O3, and same as for group 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So below the group we have the series of oxides. Then we have the series of hydrides. Same like of oxides. Okay, we have the series of hydrides where R is the element. Okay, if R is the element, then H stands for hydride. Understood up till here? Then children, Mendeleev arranged all the elements in this periodic table. Okay, as you can see here. Now children, the fourth period, okay, it has 2 series. In the first series, as you can see here, we have potassium, then we have calcium, and then you can see an empty box, right? The red color box which you can see here, it is the empty box. What does it mean? It means that there is a place for an element. At that time, it was not discovered during the period of Mendeleev. Okay, the element was not discovered, so he left an empty space for that element which would be discovered later on. And then the further elements were arranged: Ti, V, Cr, Mn, Fe, Co, and Ni. In the fourth period, the second series, again we have Cu, Zn, and then again we have two empty boxes. That means there was space left for the elements which would be discovered later on. So Mendeleev left that space for the elements. Understood? Now let's study the merits of Mendeleev's periodic table. Children, while applying the law that the properties of elements are a periodic function of the atomic masses to all the known elements, Mendeleev arranged the elements with a thought that the information available till then was not final, but it could change. As a result of this, Mendeleev's periodic table demonstrates the following merits. Let's see the first one. Atomic masses of some elements were revised so as to give them a proper place in the periodic table in accordance with their properties. For example, children, previously the atomic mass of beryllium was 14.09 and it was changed to the correct value, that is 9.4, and beryllium was placed before boron. As you can see here, children, there were changes made in the atomic mass of beryllium. Previously it was said it was 14.09. Then it was changed and the correct value was put in, that is 9.4, and it was placed before the element boron. So this was the first merit of Mendeleev's periodic table. The second merit is Mendeleev kept some vacant places in the periodic table for the elements which were not discovered till then, and he gave the name as Eka boron, Eka aluminium, and Eka silicon. From the neighbors, known neighbors, and their atomic masses were indicated as 44, 68 and 72 respectively. Eka boron means the element which will be discovered later on should have or may have the similar property with boron. Therefore, the name was given Eka boron. Eka aluminium means the elements will show some similarity with the properties with the aluminium. Therefore, the name given was Eka aluminium, and the same with silicon. The name was given Eka silicon by Mendeleev. It was predictive by Mendeleev. Understood why these names were given? Good. Children, not only this, but their properties were also predicted. Right? Later on these elements were discovered and their names were given as scandium, gallium, and germanium respectively. So, the properties of these elements matched well with those predicted by Mendeleev. So, children, due to this success, all were convinced about the importance of Mendeleev's periodic table, and this method of classification of elements was accepted immediately. Let's see the third merit now. Children, there was no place reserved for noble gases in Mendeleev's original periodic table. However, when noble gases such as helium, neon, and argon were discovered towards the end of 19th century, so Mendeleev created the zero group without disturbing the original periodic table in which the noble gases were fitted very well. So what he did, without disturbing the periodic table, he created another group which is zero group, okay, without disturbing the original periodic table. So these were the merits of Mendeleev's periodic table. Now children, we will be learning the demerits of Mendeleev's periodic table. The first one, the whole number atomic mass of the elements cobalt and nickel is the same. Children, you can see here the atomic mass of cobalt is how much? 58.9, and that of nickel is 58.7. So there is a slight difference in the atomic masses of cobalt and nickel. So, but cobalt was placed before nickel, right? So there was an ambiguity regarding their sequence in the table. Ambiguity means what? A slight confusion where to place cobalt and nickel, whether nickel should be placed before cobalt or not. So there was a slight ambiguity regarding the sequence in the table. So this was the first demerit or limitation in Mendeleev's periodic table. The second demerit is isotopes were discovered long time after Mendeleev put forth the periodic table. Now what is an isotope, children? Isotopes have the same chemical properties but they have different atomic masses. So let's see here an example of carbon. It has atomic number 6 and atomic mass is 12. So what is atomic mass? It means number of protons and neutrons. So it has 6 protons and 6 neutrons. And we have the isotope of carbon, that is carbon 13 and carbon 14. In carbon 13 we have 6 protons and 7 neutrons. Whereas in carbon 14 we have 6 protons but plus 8 neutron. So here there is a slight difference in the chemical properties. So these are the isotopes of carbon. So children, a challenge was posed in placing them in Mendeleev's periodic table. So this was the second demerit. The third demerit is when elements are arranged in an increasing order of atomic masses, the rise in the atomic mass does not appear to be uniform. Now what does this sentence describe, children? Look here, there are elements arranged with the increasing order of their atomic masses, right? Sodium has 23, magnesium has 24, aluminium 27.3, silicon 28, phosphorus 31, sulfur 32 and chlorine 35.5. Now children, what's the difference in the atomic mass between sodium and magnesium? It is a difference of 1, right? And between magnesium and aluminium, if we say look into the differences, how much? It is 3.3. And between aluminium and silicon it is 0.7. The difference is 0.7. So here we can say that the rise in the atomic mass, it is not uniform. It is not uniform. It does not appear to be uniform. So This was one of the demerits of Mendeleev's periodic table. And also children, if we look the heavy metals like cadmium, iron, Sn, right? Here also the difference between the atomic masses is different, right? So it was also stated that it was not possible, therefore, to predict that how many elements could be discovered between two heavy elements. Between two heavy elements, there could be one element more added, but still there was a confusion, and it was not possible to predict that how many elements could be discovered between the two heavy elements. This was the third demerit of Mendeleev's periodic table. The fourth demerit is position of hydrogen. Now children, hydrogen shows similarities with halogen, which are placed in group 7. Now how does this hydrogen show similarity? Let us learn this with the help of an example. For example, the molecular formula of hydrogen is H2, right? And that of chlorine is Cl2. So their molecular formula are similar. They make the compounds with metal, that is, hydrogen will make NaH and chlorine will make NaCl. And the same with compounds with non-metal. Hydrogen will make CH4 and chlorine will make CCl4. So these were the similarities of hydrogen with the halogens. In the same way, hydrogen shows similarity with the alkali metals, which are placed in group 1. There is a similarity in the molecular formulae of the compounds of hydrogen alkali metals like lithium, sodium, potassium, etc., formed with chlorine and oxygen. So, considering these properties, it could not be decided whether the correct position of hydrogen was in the group of alkali metals or in the group of halogens. Here you can see the examples of compounds of hydrogen and compounds of sodium. So children, it was difficult to decide whether the what is would be the correct position of hydrogen. Understood? I hope children, every one of you have understood. So these were the demerits of Mendeleev's periodic table. Children, with this we have come to an end of today's lecture. I hope every one of you must have understood today's lecture. I request all of you children, kindly watch the video attentively and then please read the lesson for better understanding. We shall see you in the next lecture with a new topic. Till then children, take care of yourself and your family. Thank you children.